Hey everybody, got a great drill for us today to teach us how to kind of access our posterior pelvic tilt and the rib depression positions a little bit better. You could also consider this hinge point training, which is a way for us to create more awareness at different spinal segments. That becomes important because our spine should have the ability to segment and kind of create uniform spinal curves. And if we lack this, it can kind of impede how our spine absorbs forces, things within that nature. So we're going to use a band as a way to create some feedback, and we're going to lay on our back to get started. All right, and you guys have probably heard a lot about anterior pelvic tilting, and it's could be quote unquote dangerous for us, but no one position posture is inherently dangerous, right? For me, when I'm looking at how people move and I'm assessing them, I look for the ability for them to get in and out of positions. So if you stood a little bit like this and you had full access, range of motion, your spine mobility looks really great, I'm not going to harp on the ability you have an anterior pelvic tilt unless for whatever reason extension was painful for you. Okay? Now, that's not often the case. A lot of times, what I see, especially with people with low back pain, is they may have that anterior pelvic tilt, but they can't actually get into the posterior pelvic tilt position. And now, because of repetitive loading and the inability to get into flexion, we start to get these overuse type injuries, pain starts to pop up. So here's a good way to start to teach how to get into these positions so that we can use it within our day-to-day life, movement, exercise, etc. So we're going to come, like I said, on our back. We're going to grab one end of the band in our hand, and right now we're going to start in the middle of our arch. So whatever arch you have in your back, between my pelvis and my upper back on the ground, that's where I'm going to start with the band. I'm then going to pull up on it, and you're going to feel like it's trying to lift your spine up to the ceiling or make you want to have a bigger arch. And now from here, I'm going to try to push that band into the ground. As I do that, I'm trying to push my ribs down, and I'm trying to pull my belt buckle up. And what that means is if I had like one of those big belt buckles here, I want to try to tilt it towards my chin. So that would be a posterior tilt. If I did an anterior tilt, when I go back to my start, it should feel like that belt buckle kind of goes away from my chin, okay? So we'll come back into that anterior tilt. We're going to have some tension with the band. We'll go rep 2, trying to push it back to the ground, and then allowing it to arch again. Now, you may find that you have a good roll of your pelvis, but you don't have a good rib drive. Now, we can move the band up underneath, kind of like those lower ribs, so it should be right underneath your chest. Now I can focus on pushing the band through my upper ribs. If you feel like you have a good job here, but your pelvis doesn't get good rolling into anterior posterior tilting, I can move the band nice and low, and now I can move through that area or think about that area primarily because you're not just going to be, oh, I can only move this one segment where the band is. But if we start to think about that band, and that's where I'm trying to push from, we're going to create more awareness of the individual segments where we feel like we're more stuck or we can't really get the feeling of it. All right? So give that a try, explore different positions, see how it feels. I would say 2-3 sets of 8 to 10 reps holding that posterior pelvic tilted position for a couple seconds. And that's all you're going to need. Do that every single day, build that awareness, and take that into your cat-cow moles, your generalized spinal mobility work. Take it into your dead bugs, your core work, your squat work, all of those things, right? So just trying to take the context from here and then utilizing it within other positions. Questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comments section down below. you found this video helpful, just go over, click the subscribe button. It takes 1 second and will kind of help me get my message out to more people. I'll see you guys at the next video.